Welcome back. You're still watching Matters Arising, and tonight, as I indicated earlier, we are discussing the fallout from the Gyeeda report. My name is Kofi Owusu-Ansah, sitting in for your regular host, Akumba Ben, and my guests are seated here with me. And to my immediate right is Mr. Omari Wadie, who is an aspiring first vice chair of the new Patriotic Party. Next to him is the Alhaji Mohammed Naziru, who is a member of the communication team of the ruling National Democratic Congress. And to my extreme right is Mornah, who is the General Secretary of the People's National Convention. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Well, we are discussing Gyeeda, the NYEP instituted in 2006, metamorphosed into Gyeeda, ostensibly to meet growing demands of the employment market and so on. But you'd agree with me that it has since become an albatross on the necks of government after allegations of financial impropriety on the part of some of the beneficiaries. First of all, let me take your views on this. Bernard, what do you make of the whole Gyeeda issue and the controversies that have surrounded it in the past few weeks and months?
It's a big question to ask the Gyeeda issue. Which issue are we talking about? But let me start and hazard an answer that, to my understanding, the National Youth Employment Program was instituted and launched with all the masters at the Kawukudi Park. I recall then that it was Honorable Boniface Siddiq, who was the minister responsible for youth, for employment. And the reason for which it was launched was that we had many young graduates that were churned out of our various tertiary institutions who were seeking employment, who were seeking some opportunity to apply their skills, and they did not have it. As a way of absorbing the huge numbers of the unemployment, to fortify them with some levels of skills, the National Youth Employment Program was instituted, mainly to ensure that 2 years after you have been enrolled into the program, you have acquired basic skills to lead you on to acquiring a permanent job. So if you ask me, it was not supposed to be a permanent outfit. Since its institution 2006 to date, we have had people that have been there, and they have taken the National Youth Employment Program to become a final stopping point for employment and not a training ground, so that they can use that to transit, acquire necessary skills, and move on. For instance, people go there and they have become task forces. They are either affiliated to the prisons, affiliated to fire service, affiliated to police. You expect that at least by the completion of their second year, they would have transited formally, probably moved on to join the police service or the security service in their full stream. Unfortunately, these people continue to remain on the payroll of the National Youth Employment Authority. And I think that along the line, we've had some difficulties, and those difficulties, if I guess, will now be the basis for which you are asking the issues. And the difficulties including that some funds were misapplied, that some companies and individuals also took advantage of the non-existence of a framework, of a policy direction, of a law that guides the operations of the National Youth Employment Program. And at the end of the day, some people have taken advantage of the inadequacies that exist, particularly the institutional framework, and cashed on it. Eventually, I am happy that government has come across, probably because of public pressure, people seeing some individuals that have gone into a National Youth Employment Program, and in no time you see them springing up all manner of mansions and material things. So it became a source of public outcry, and a committee was instituted to investigate. The findings have been brought, and I think that the findings are both revealing, both frightening, or can I say they are revealing, they are frightening, and sometimes I say that they are a source of hope for our nation, and I'll come to expatiate on this.
Right. Now, let me bring you in, Naziru. I mean, given the controversies we've had, just opposing it against the initial objectives of the scheme, would you say that largely it has accomplished its purpose, or you think that there is still a lot more to achieve?
Well, to a larger extent, I think it has accomplished its purpose. Why? Because the prime objective is to get the youth in this country some sort of employment and skills so that they fit in the job market. You would agree with me that employers would always ask of certain experience. And if we have churned out a number of youth who have gone through the outfits, I mean, that is Gyeeda, you would agree with me that then it has met certain purpose. But to also look at it from the fact that it has been halted as a result of some malfeasance or more practices that engulf the place. When you go into the report that was churned out, you realize that even laws and certain qualifications that people need to acquire to occupy positions were not adhered to, and there were no laws backing it. It makes it, I think it's high time we sit back to reorganize and see how we can put it better, because it has come to be a very good thing in the country.
Right. Now, Omari Wadie, I mean, a lot of investigations have been conducted into the operations of the scheme. Recommendations have come out. What is your assessment of the willingness to comply with these recommendations? Do you get a sense that government, and by extension the AG's department, is actually willing to comply with the recommendations in the report?
Well, thank you, and good evening to listeners, especially our delegates. We just had our constituency elections, and for that matter, delegates for our primaries. So I want to wish those who won well. I want to congratulate them. Now, on the issue at stake, Gyeeda, like my brother said, it was a program kind of intervention. Since we established it, at least we've seen some progress being made. Unfortunately, our guys come up and all they did was change the name, started squandering money. Money is meant to be used to at least generate employment for our younger, the youth. Now the challenge we have is now we've detected that some monies were given to people who did not deserve. We don't know who gave those orders. We don't know why they were given those monies. And we don't know why they received, that is the companies, as Untaba and as listed, why they received monies that they were not due. And now government comes up to say, well, a committee was set up. And they said they were going to, some recommendations were made, including prosecuting those who paid the money and those who received the money. Now government comes up and says they are not interested in prosecuting the people who gave the money out, nor the people who received the monies. Is it not surprising?
I think the correct term to use is that, a hint has been given that government may not prosecute the individuals.
Once a government, official,
the companies have pledged to, pay back the monies which were ostensibly wrongfully paid to them.
So what government now is doing is promoting and encouraging corruption. Once you steal and you are caught, all government does is we are not interested, refund the money. That is what they are seeking to tell you and I. And I think it's a very, very bad signals that government is sending out there. Government that is determined to fight corruption. Government that is determined to discourage people from squandering government of the people's money should not behave this way. And it's a shame, I tell.
Right.
It's a very, it's bad.
Your take on this.
If I may come in, I don't think that assertion is wholly true, because the assertion that people will not be prosecuted and the fact that Omari Wadie takes it to mean that it is encouraging corruption. I think it's very clear. As I speak to you now, I'm reliably informed that the Attorney General has some dockets ready for prosecution on the Gyeeda issue. They have gone through the process where the security agencies and all those who matter have been investigated.
Your assessment is a bit emphatic from the one given by the Deputy Attorney General just over the weekend, to the extent that he said that the AG's department is not going to be in the business of prosecuting just because of public perception, and that concrete evidence would have to be provided before any.
That is what the AG, the Deputy Attorney General, is saying. And my brother said the Attorney General is lying to Ghanaians.
And you see, we cannot miss words. We just don't put words just because we want to oppose certain what do you call it, policies of government. Let us be very serious and deal with the matter as it is. Let me make a point that if people are being investigated, if there has been some sort of investigation and the Attorney General has inquired and realized that, okay, we can do such prosecution due to the information available to us, we must find criminality so that we can do the necessary prosecution. We don't just jump to court and say we want to prosecute because people are saying they suspect
Omari Wadie, you've made your point. Bernard, let me ask you this. Should our efforts be concentrated at prosecuting people for misapplication, misapplication of funds, or our efforts should be geared towards recovering monies which have been wrongfully paid?
First, let me put it in perspective that, in my view, the first step to fighting corruption is to expose it. You have to expose it for the public to know that there is something wrong, and then we can begin to fight it. Even the individuals and institutions that are involved in, once they come to public knowledge, and possibly if you are passing by and they say, oh, this company was involved in this scandal, that one alone is deterrent enough for others not to deal with you. And I'm sure that it is one surest way of combating corruption. So I think that, one, I want to commend government for setting up and instituting a committee that was able to bring out. If you recall, there was an internal committee that was set by, I think, Abu Gapili, who was then the head. Then there was another committee set up by another group. So it was like we had so many committees that...
Hold on to that thought. We'll go for a very quick commercial break. When we come back, you will delve more into the issues that you are enumerating. Stay with us.